Hey everyone, Melissa here. Well, we are starting a new series, Fruit and Flowers, and this week we are exploring the contrast of the upcoming spring flowers and the beginning of growth that we're going to start seeing everywhere with the winter citrus fruits, the lemons, which are so tangy, yet that tanginess is full of vitamin C and so good for us. So I thought it would be fun to take these two concepts and create some still lifes and have fun painting. It's still dreary outside and gray as we go through February, but this is a perfect time to hibernate and create and dream and anticipate what the upcoming spring may be. So grab your art supplies and let's paint together. Hi everyone. Well, we are starting a new series today called Flowers and Fruit, and just like the title, we are going to be painting flowers with fruit. And my goal is a bit of a combination. We'll be using a variety of fruit, but some citrusy as it's winter time right now, and kind of that bitterness of winter, that coldness, matched with the upcoming just warmth of spring flowers. So we know spring is coming. I'm pulling in some flowers. I'm also going to be playing with really some more simplified color palettes for this one, at least a few starting out. So like today is going to be a lot of blue, green, and yellow for the primary colors, and then we'll go into more pinks as well. But I'm super excited. I have taken a Micron pen and have just sketched out some flowers. They're almost a daisy zinnia-esque kind of flower in a big vase. I've got some lemons. I had a friend who gave me some of their Meyer lemons from their tree, which is such a treat this time of year. So I have some lemons down here. So I want that yellow to be reflected in both areas. And then I'm not sure about the color of my vase. That'll probably be a lighter blue with darker blue flowers. Again, just doing some different things with the color palette, and I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with adding in some yellow. I have gamboge, which is a warmer yellow. I have a cadmium yellow as well on the palette. So I'm going to add in, add in some yellow. I'm thinking too, like even in the center of my flower. So not coloring it in. I'm leaving some white space here. Just adding that in there. I have, I believe, an odd number of flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. And I had been seeing some really beautiful, I guess it'd be monochromatic designs, of floral designs where, well, really there would be like all blue flowers in a white vase, or all blue and white flowers in a white vase. And it just was really, really lovely. And I thought, let's play with that. Let's play with some different color palettes, changing some things up. And I love the contrast. I really love the contrast with the fruit. Just was thinking too, I was in New York last weekend and I just happened to go there it was freezing. I guess I was talking to someone who lives there and she says it's not usually this cold. It was like 5 degrees, but the weather app would say like 5 degrees, but feels like a -7 because of the wind factor. It was so cold. It was so freezing. And then, it's trying to get out and about in that kind of weather, because I had told myself we're walking the city. You're in New York, you're maybe taking a cab at night, but I really wanted to walk the city. So I just took my scarf and bundled it around my face. And I did have a pretty good jacket, and we went out, and it was, or I went out. It was fun. It was a good trip. But again, it was so comforting to then slip into a coffee shop and have like a cup of coffee, right? So comforting, and just to get out of the cold and that contrast of the extreme seasons. I'm picking up some French ultramarine blue. I'm going to come over here. I do want to do some different blues, and then we're going to blend them a bit. And isn't that a beautiful contrast? The cerulean blue and then this French marine blue. We're going to combine them too and get some blending going on, but I wanted a couple petals that were just pure. I love the different colors. I think it's fun too, as I am starting to plan out some collections for this year, practicing with paintings like this of, what colors go really well together, what is singing to me this year that maybe is a little bit different than in previous seasons, and so forth. Just moving this around. So back in California now, it is, I think it's like in the 30s, 40s, and it's been jumping up into 60s during the daytime. So the weather's been really nice. You know, we're not quite ready for warm weather now, but it's nice to have it. It's sunny and cool, which is great for like going out and walking on the river trail. Oh, isn't that looking fun? And that sort of thing. I'm going to put this color right up here. Again, I want to move the different blues around, so we're just going to drop this guy in here, and again letting some white remain to show where the light is coming and playing off. I'll come in just a little bit with the camera. I'm working off a bigger piece of paper today, so this is a 9x12, but I'm still thinking that we can get really most of it done within our allotted time. We like to, I'm going to pick up some phthalo blue too. I'm going to bring this over here. It's very similar. We like to do it within 20 minutes for these YouTube videos if we can. This is looking nice. But I thought it might be fun to paint a little bit bigger. And I'm going to come over here, another little bloom. These are looking super nice. We're going to start picking up some green as well. I'm going to pick some water up. Well, let's go ahead and get some of that cerulean blue back here. And I'm going to add that over here and just moving this around. I love blue. I love how calm it is. It's a very cerebral color. Allegedly, if you want to think and focus better, if you are in a blue room, which I've always thought that was really interesting, right? To go study somewhere or go read maybe somewhere where it's blue. Okay, we've got this flower right up here, and this guy here, I want to add just a tad bit of that French ultramarine, just a little bit, right in some of these petals here, just to show some little depth, some shadowing maybe. I have the green going right here, this stem, so I'm just being careful. That could be a mistake. Not gonna lie, that could be a mistake. I think I should probably lay down the vase before I add in the green, or you know, we're gonna add in the green first. I'm gonna leave this guy alone for now. I'm gonna pick up some green, and I have a permanent green. I have a sap green on the palette. I'll show you my palette really quick. So you can see right here, this sap green is pretty dark. It's that muted color, while the permanent green, it's just, it's like a spring green. And I think I am going to probably put a little bit of that one up, because I don't want that muted sap green can sometimes collide with the other colors. I have to be careful, especially with these clean blues. So I'm going to just use a cleaner spring green, and I'm going to go and just start pulling the green, and I'm going to just come. The nice thing with the blue is if with the green and blue merge a bit, not a big deal, right? It's not like red and green where they turn to brown. I'm just moving around here too. I had done just some light sketches of the leaves with the Micron pen, but I am going to go ahead too and do some additional leaves. And feel free to do the same. And just wanting to, move however you feel you want to fill the paper. I wanted to kind of create a sense of the eye moving around and then down with some more space over here, and that was what my thought process was as I was just laying out the design. I'm going to pick up some more green over here, and as you can see too, I'm keeping the leaves pretty loose. They're not huge leaves, but they're very graceful, right? So just moving these guys around, moving them down. Have a leaf right here. I'm going to pick up a little bit more color. And the nice thing too is if I want a darker green or if I want some shadowing, I'm just going to dip in some blue is what we'll do. And I probably will add some shadowing down here, as well as maybe some leaves that have maybe dropped off. And I'm just going to add in blue, like even here, I'm going to pick up a bit of the French ultramarine blue and just lay it right on there. A little bit here and the leaf. So not tons, but just enough to create the deeper color, right? I pick up a little bit more blue over here, add it to this guy. And you can see even our colors are singing. We're not using a lot of colors, but the colors we're using really are blending beautifully. And I love that. Okay, I've got some green right up here for this guy. Okay, and this over here, I want to make sure I get all my, there, that looks really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I do want to take that vase here, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a blue. I'm going to just get a lighter blue, that cerulean blue, and I'm going to just start laying down around the leaves. I'm not coloring everything in. I'm leaving some space. I'm being mindful of those leaves as well, of recognizing I don't want them to merge. So I will come back and add in some darker detail to the leaves later. But for now, let's just kind of take that tip, and that's too, when that tip, if you have a round tip with that nice angle to it, it is really beneficial to get into the smaller areas. So in here, for example, where I just want to move around in here and then use the side of the brush. As you can see, I'm not changing my brushes up. I'm just moving right along using that same brush and using the different angles of the brush. Just moving right along here. I'm recording this, it is February. I'm recording this a little bit before Valentine's Day, so even in my corner on my art room right now, I have my Valentines that I need to mail out today, so they'll hopefully get to where I would like them to go on time. It is nice to have a holiday like Valentine's Day, even though it's like a Hallmark holiday, you know, right. I'm going to add just a little bit of a darker blue right up here in the middle of a cold month, because I think with midwinter too, with, you know, it can be a bit dreary, right? This is be a bit of a dreary time of year. It's a lot of gray out. It's cold. It's not yet spring. And so just being really intentional about doing things that add some color to our lives, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. It's a little bit, I want actually a little bit denser color down here. Oh, and I just got a hair. Pull that hair out right there. Not a big deal. And I'm just going to grab my paper towel, a little bit of water, and I'm just going to take that up, you know, a little bit of a surprise right there on the painting. Perfect. Okay, so now while I want that to dry, let me check our time really quick. We are at 11 minutes. My goodness, we're just moving right along. Let's pick up some of that gamboge. Make sure your brush is really clean. And I'm going to just go ahead, and if you even look, like, this is nice if you have some fresh fruit and you can just set it and like look at it and go, okay, making sure you can see that, like, where's the shadow coming, where is it lighter, and that way you can really include that in the painting. So recognizing it's lighter up here, if that light is shining down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some lighter yellow up on top, right? I might even pick up the cadmium yellow even up here, and even just like do some speckling, almost just moving that around here. You could even take your paper towel if you wanted to and just kind of dab it a little bit. And then coming down below to create a darker, deeper color and leaving less white to show where there is going to be more shadowing. And we're going to add some shadows as well. And over here as well. I'm going to pick up into some more yellow here. If your water's getting dirty, like too much blue, because you don't want your lemons to turn green, right? Just swap out your water. Okay, and I'm going to just, again, moving right along, making sure our bottom part of our lemons, where there is more shadow, is going to have deeper color. And this lemon over here is much more, he is in the shadow, especially being in the vase, so he's going to have less modeling or that the white on top, and I'm going to go ahead and create a darker color for him over here, and just creating that right down there. Maybe there's picking up some shadow in another area. I'm going to leave some white just to show that roundness. Okay, that looks good. And then for the shadow color, you can pick what you'd like. I don't necessarily feel the need to make mine like a gray, like a real shadow. I will, you know, choose some different colors. If I could do a purple, which would go nice with the yellow, but I want to stick with the colors we have. So I'm probably going to use a green shadow. But I'm going to give it just a minute to let these dry. I'm going to come back up with my painting, my last flower right on top, and we're going to create that. And then we are going to be actually pretty close to done, which we have been moving right along. We've kept this pretty clean. There hasn't been a lot of merging, right? I'm going to use, I think this is a phthalo blue, which I love. We didn't do too much merging with the colors too, with your petals. And if you wanted to create different colors, you certainly could by just, for example, with this guy, I'll go ahead and add in another kind of blue. So, for example, I could take the French ultramarine blue and just dab that and let those colors start dancing together, right? And then moving down here and down here and add in another blue, again, just so those colors can dance together, which is really a lot of fun. I'm going to come back over here and straighten out that petal a bit, make it a little bit broader. What I like about these kinds of flowers is their petals are all very different shaped. They have the same kind of, they come out, they're flat at the ends, but some of them are a little bit wrinkly, you know, some of them curve in different ways. I love that. Okay, so we have all these together now. Now, actually, it looks like I should probably have one more petal on this guy over here. So I'm going to add a petal there. If you want to come back and take some of the darker colors, even mix a few blues together. If you want to just create some different, just a little bit of a different depth with some of these. I'm going to come right over here where it maybe should be a little bit darker inside of this flower, where there's some shadowing perhaps. Right down here. I am going to add a little bit of a green in here. I'm going to rinse my brush again. I'm going to take a bit of the gamboge. I'm going to just add a little bit more color, a little more pop in my center, making sure that it doesn't blend into the blue, because that again it'll turn into a green there. I'm going to go ahead and pick up some blue, though. I am going to add it to the green so we get a darker color. And just come back in here just to add some depth to these leaves. And that looks really pretty. Again, just wanting to create more depth in here, especially where there would be some shadowing. I'm going to pick up some water. I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to start. I had put a little where my horizon line is. I added just a little bit of a line. So I'm going to go over there, add that line, and then underneath my lemons, for example, I'm just going to go ahead and create some shadowing there. And move this around under this lemon. I'm not too worried about keeping it super perfect or anything like that. This vase would definitely probably have quite a bit of shadow, so I'm going to extend that shadow right down here. If you feel the shadows are too much, just take your paper towel and just merge them a bit. I think the shadows are fine. Like maybe this is just a bit too much. I might just dab that just a little bit, because I just want there to be a little bit of a line. I don't want it to be the main attraction, so to speak. And this is too a wonderful time where if you want to look over your painting, what else do you want to add? This is the part too. If you wanted to do some splatters, you certainly could. This would be a great time. I'm going to just do a little bit more of an in-depth. I want a little bit more brightness right on top of my lemons over here. That looks so pretty. I think this painting is turning out beautifully. I said again, I might, after it finishes, the one thing that we could do is we could either do splatters, or I could take the yellow and then just do a really light wash. And if I do that, I would take a paintbrush like this, get it wet, put it in the yellow, really, and then just start to move around, get it even a little bit more wet. And then moving that around. The one thing is you have to be careful. I don't have my edge to get in nice and tight. But again, I'm just doing a bit of a wash here. Just doing a bit of a wash. Nothing too big. Kind of brings the whole painting together, right? Because of the center part. And it's nothing that you would even notice really on looking at it. but it's like putting a bow on a gift package. It just brings the whole thing together. It gives it a sense of completeness. And if you wanted to grab your other round and even go back in here just a little bit, just keep it nice and light though. Real nice and light, making sure it's just a nice wash, nothing too heavy. And again, if you wanted to do splattering instead, that gives it this a very similar look. I'm going to come back down here, right against the horizon. I'm going to go right against there. And then on the other side, just brushing that away. And there we go. I think that's lovely. I might come back right in here, a little bit of yellow. I think it's beautiful. This was a fun one. I love the blue and yellow. It feels bright. It feels crisp. And I'm really thrilled about this new series we're going to be doing. So our first painting, flowers and fruit, and I will see you guys really soon. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.